Here we have the ship's main stove. This is a Gimbal 2-burner paraffin or kerosene stove. At the mention of kerosene, some people think it's too much trouble. It's a heck of a lot safer than using the propane, so before somebody considered replacing the paraffin one, just get to know it a lot better. Read some simple stuff on it, and you'll be quite pleased with it. The knobs here turn all the way, and when it's completely over, this is what they call self-pricking. There's a small needle that comes up in the center part down here that will actually clean out the orifice where the fuel will come out. If that gets carbonated up, you can have some problems with it. Should also keep the holes on these covers cleaned out nicely. Down in here, if you can see it properly, the burner, once it's lit, you see you've got a small cup down in here. That cup's for taking the alcohol that you prime the stove with. That preheats the burner so that when the fuel comes through the kerosene, it will actually vaporize and burn correctly. If you don't put enough alcohol down in that small cup down in there, it won't be, and you'll get sort of a smoky flare-up. Use the best quality alcohol that you can find. Not all the alcohols they sell out there are of the same quality. I'll include at the end of this part of the video information from a PDF file that gives you every bit of information you could need to know about what kind of things you should remember to do with the kerosene stove. So by turning this lever here all the way over, a small needle comes up, cleans out the orifice where the fuel will come out, and you turn it back and ignite it. Down here, underneath the main galley sink, you can see this is the tank for the kerosene to go into. One of the critical things to remember, this tank should never be anything less than half filled. The preferable level to fill it to so you get proper operation is 3/4. Never fill the tank right to the top. That means in order to pressurize this, there's the fuel gauge back there, or the pressure gauge. You need to pressurize this tank up to 10 plus. Otherwise you don't have enough pressure. When you're finished operating this, you let the pressure back off. Okay, I was interrupted because the flashlight had problems. Notice this petcock back here, just behind the pressure gauge. That can be opened and closed to let the pressure out of the tank once you're finished. That's highly recommended that you not leave the pressure on when you're not going to use the stove. To pressurize this tank, make sure that the petcock is closed. Put a small bicycle pump that we have onto this nipple and pressurize it up to 10 plus. 12 is a good comfortable level to do it at. When you are finished, make sure you depressurize it, the tank. That way there's no possibility of having fuel leaking out onto the lower part of the stove. By simply undoing the wooden panel that we have here, you can stick your arm through there and operate those two through hulls if you need be. Here's the cabinet removed, and as you can see at an initial glance, there's all sorts of important stuff back in here that you need to be aware of. I would recommend somebody inspecting this area at least once a year or more. Up here you can see the back side of the electrical panel that operates the engine. Should you have a problem, you can simply get in here and diagnose it. Should you have a problem with your linkage from your shifts, this is where you access them to adjust them to make sure they're operating correctly. These two valves in here, you notice, one is a through hull that drains from the cockpit out. The other one is for bilge pump. They can be turned on and off. You don't have to take the cabinet apart, however, to access them. Here's the refrigeration freezer unit. We currently have it disconnected because of the R12 that was in it and slowly escaped. We've yet to find a supplier to recharge it. But this is how you get to the unit and check it all out.